What's up, everybody? Rob Farah here, and welcome back to the podcast. We've got Tiara Brianna here. Again, thank you for joining me.
Thanks. Every week.
Every week. It's been another week. We're not live streaming today because I've got to solve the issue of the footage. What we did last time was we recorded on YouTube Live on the podcast channel, and then I just ripped it and then put the good audio on it and put it up on my channel. But it was like potato footage. The footage that you get from the Mac Pro was not sufficient.
I feel like it's just that camera. It's not what you would really
well,
shoot with.
Now we've got a GoPro. I'm running the problem is the files get really big, so I'm just running it in 1080 instead of 4K.
I don't know what that means, but
this is what we look. Come on.
Nope.
4K camera, TV.
Heard of it.
You're like the younger generation. You should know all about this stuff.
I don't do any of this stuff. I just
don't be proud of your ignorance.
What? I'm just saying. I just record this, and you handle that.
All right. So 1080 was a standard resolution. It was actually high definition for a while. It was 480p. Then it went to 720. Then 1080 progressive. Okay, and then now it went to 4K. Now they're doing like 8K. OLED, crazy stuff. It's just better resolution. It's when you watch something, if you watch it, it's like, was that filmed on a potato?
Like everything from your phone?
Like everything from my phone. Do you have an iPhone? You do. Yeah.
I do have an iPhone.
iPhones and Androids
so everything
don't talk.
from my phone is like 4K or 8K?
Probably.
And everything from your phone is like 720? Like
no.
Less than
like
that?
360.
Before I was giving you credit.
Before 480. No. And it looks great on my phone, which is what I care about. But when I send it to anyone with an iPhone, it just
doesn't transfer.
Doesn't work.
That's why you need to get an iPhone.
True.
Yeah, this thing is magical. We filmed some of your videos with this.
We did film a video on that. I am sort of and it works with I swear by the Mac Pro, which is the computer. And for some reason with phones, I decide to be cheap. And
you can't be.
Everything on the phone works. It's just I lose a little bit of convenience, but this phone I think is terrific for the $600 that it retails at.
Yeah, but this was like not even that much more. This is like a $1,300 phone.
No, I know, I get the Delta, but like I just bought an 85-inch TV for like $800.
Okay, but think about the convenience with this phone. You were able to airdrop that video to your
computer. I totally get it. I'm sort of now. It's more of the annoyance, and I don't like giving into that. It's more of the annoyance of not being able to like share stuff in actual resolution with people. And I am on I want to say probably the 40% side of the phone world.
I mean, you should just give in to the Apple's cult.
I think I have to just suck it up and buy Apple stock and then more Apple stock. And
buy the phone.
It's a good stock. They do actually make lots of money hand over fist. So
yeah,
it's just it's not the best phone out there. The iPhone is not the best.
It's just a user-friendly phone. Let's put it that way. Anybody can use it.
This is also user-friendly.
No, it's not.
Tonight...
I think it's a jigsaw puzzle.
It is not. Tonight, guys, we are drinking the Whistle Pig 10. That's one of their entry-level bottles. Comes in at about $79 a bottle. So if you want, I'll put a link in the description. The unofficial sponsor of the Whistle Pig podcast.
The Whistle Pig Wednesdays podcast.
Yeah, Whistle Pig
Not
Wednesdays.
Sponsored by Whistle Pig.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is. It's actually cool. They're going to come down and do an event here in my house, probably in the spring. So that's very cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Now we've got some travel. We've got travel and events coming up. Let me get into my mic a little bit because for some reason I don't feel like I'm coming up as loud as I want to.
Right. How do I sound?
You're all right.
Okay, go.
So we have the travel. We're coming this weekend. Actually, it was a last minute trip. We're going to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. First time in New Orleans.
It's probably going to be one of your last. I don't think.
For
me, I don't know.
Everyone rages about it. I feel like
I've been there twice. It's sort of like a toilet bowl.
What's there that's iconic?
It's good jazz music. It's very smutty, right? It's very like all strip. Like they're like Times Square is just like all strip clubs and yeah. So it's like
I don't know,
and that's like right across from like the Four Seasons Hotel, and then you go across the street. It's like Rosie's strip club.
I was imagining it more like Seattle. You know where like the port was? Like
Yeah,
this is
Seattle
what I'm
was
thinking because
nice.
like is it New Orleans? Isn't there a port there? Like
No, Seattle, definitely it's a port city. It's got devastated by a hurricane.
I was it's not funny.
No, I mean, it just...
I was imagining it more like Seattle, like with like the little markets and the water and the ports and the boats.
You know, it's got
Cobblestone streets. I don't know.
It's got some good character. I just think of it as like just debauchery and like people throwing up and pissing in the streets. And we parked our cars there on this rally, and like somebody got shot, and then we had to move.
Somebody
our cars
from your rally?
No, not somebody, but like just random gunfire. It's a little bit more lawless. It's a little bit of a shithole.
Oh, so why are we going?
It's because there's a racetrack there. It's actually a pretty cool racetrack. And the time I went to the racetrack there was when they were just finishing it. So the racetrack wasn't even completed when we were there previously. And I want to say that was like 2009.
Oh, so it's still like fairly new.
It's fairly new.
Yeah.
But I hear it's a good track. So I've got a buddy who likes to rent tracks. So every month this year, he's going to be renting a racetrack. And I get the novelty of being able to go with them. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, and you go along as well. So
yeah.
It will be nice that
I
got to get my car up. The next one we're going after that is Road Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And April. And that's something that's going to require me getting that's like I brought my car to East Coast Supercharging. I don't know what the issue is with it yet.
You already brought it? It's down there now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to have them fix it. And Doug's like, look, he's like, if the block is done, instead of rebuilding it, I got another short block right here. We'll throw it in the car. So he's got another Ford short block.
Get it out there.
And we can turn that thing around in a day. So that's a nice way.
That's why those cars are so easy to work on. I think anything American is like just swap parts.
It's LS. That's why the LS was so popular. And it's like years ago it's
plug
SEMA.
And play.
Speaking of SEMA, I think it's going to be on this year. So I
saw that.
Add that to the travel schedule.
Oh no.
Why? Oh no.
I can't go anywhere this year. I have no time.
Well, you're running out of time, but you're going to have a lot of fun traveling.
Yeah.
We'll swap it out, and the goal is to just, and I can't ask them to prioritize that, but I'm like, look, that gives us over a month. And Doug's actually coming with us on another trip where Adventure Drives, we do like bespoke trips. And we have some guy throwing a birthday party for himself and his friends. And we're going to be running that later this month out of Vegas. And we're doing a little it's tough in March to do stuff.
Why March specifically?
Because it's cold.
Out over there too?
Yeah, it's cold over there. Like places that we're going, like Horseshoe Bend I looked up yesterday, and it was like high of 42 and low of 20. And I'm like,
well, it's also like the desert technically, right?
It is the desert,
gets, like, cold out
but
there.
It should be still. You think of the desert as getting warm during the day, but like this is going to be probably one of the coolest trips we put on, because like it was like money was not an issue. So he's like, all right, do this, and we're putting together a very, very cool itinerary, and it's like we're talking multiple days of helicopters, like lots of Ferraris, off-roading, like go-karts, kayaking, like yachts, like we've got.
I'm not gonna be able to do the go-karts or the
off-road. You probably can't do the off-roading.
I can't do off-road. Definitely not.
It's got a 50-foot and 100-foot tabletop.
Yeah, I'll sit that one out.
Yeah.
I'll just sit on the side. I don't know where they're gonna put me, but
I mean, it should be fun. It's a mutual friend of ours, which is actually cool as well. So they harnessed the planning powers of Adventure Drives. And I think it's going to be a kick-ass party.
That's like birthday party of forever. Like
I have not been this excited to like go to Vegas or something like that in a long time. And we're going to be in Vegas for, I think like five days of the 8 days. Because we're going.
I don't know the actual itinerary.
So we're going Vegas, Sedona, Zion, Vegas.
Okay, it's gonna be a long week. It's a long trip.
I mean, it's a long week because it's jam-packed full of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, then that means it's probably going to fly by, but I was looking at the calendar, and it's literally the second, like, March is done. I'm considering March, like, written off.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, you're now throwing traveling, but now just wait until April and May and June. I mean, we've got scouting trips. We've got Adventure Drives. The DC to Nashville trip is coming up at the end of April, and that's going to be good, but that's end of April. So we have... what else? We have the Road Atlanta we have to do. That's middle of April.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go scout for France and Spain in April, but I got to see what the restrictions are.
I think I thought I saw a note of them opening up.
I was just talking with somebody. We're starting at the Mandarin Oriental in Paris, starting and finishing there. Nice. So I was talking with somebody who works there. I was on this big corporate virtual. It was weird. I was on this virtual Mandarin Oriental, like they usually they do these accents? Events. Oh no, of course she's French.
Yeah, like how is her English?
But there was people from like Abu Dhabi. There was people from
like everybody.
Yeah, Spain. There was people like it was like a global event.
So why were you on that? Because, it sounds like just like a specific business.
Well,
like
we're
corporate.
We're partnered with the Mandarin Oriental.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
As our saleswoman,
Listen. I thought they didn't exist over here.
They what?
I thought they didn't exist over here.
No,
I have yet to see a Mandarin Oriental. I've never seen one.
Really? There's one in New York City.
Is there?
In Columbus Circle.
I think I forget where we were at, but you're like, oh, this used to be a Mandarin Oriental.
That's the wall. I was actually talking to them about that today. It's the Waldorf Astoria in Las Vegas. Used to be a Mandarin Oriental.
And that's why I thought they didn't exist anymore. I thought they got bought out.
It was actually that building, the physical building, it was licensed to the Mandarin Oriental. And that building was gifted to somebody's kid. Like the kid graduated college and they just gifted them a hotel. And they decided that kid decided that they liked the Waldorf more than the Mandarin, so they bumped the Waldorf.
What?
They just transitioned.
How do they feel?
I'm like, I can't even wrap my head around that level of like here, like if somebody gave me like a car, I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You got a hotel. Like here's a Vegas high-rise luxury hotel.
Something that's going to make you income
for graduating college. But you don't need income. If you could buy somebody a building like that, you don't need income.
Well, that's
just you've already got enough money to not worry about anything.
Yeah, that's true. And then just say, oh, I don't like this. It's like getting the car and saying, you know what, I actually want this car, and like turning around and trading it or selling it. I feel like I couldn't do that with a gift.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're turning around and selling anything. They're just going to... It's part of their portfolio being rich.
Okay. I don't know anything about that. So.
Neither do I. But I don't know. It's just... I was floored by that. But we've done... we're starting at the Mandarin Oriental in D.C. for adventure drives.
Okay.
So you will be at that one.
Oh, good.
We will be at... There's a Mandarin Oriental Boston. There's a Mandarin Oriental D.C. There's one in New York. There's one in Miami. Where is it in Miami? It's on Brickell Key.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's a nice place. But Mandarin Orientals are like, they're $800 to $1,200 a night. Mm-hmm. Like it's 5-star luxury, Japanese inspired, which is very nice. The one in Paris is very cool. We stayed at the one there's nothing in Monaco. We stayed at the one in Geneva, in Lake Geneva, which was awesome. But we're going to be doing probably that one as well. There's one in Barcelona, but we're actually not staying in the one in Barcelona because it's not on the beach. In Barcelona, we're going to be there for 2 days, so we're going to stay on the beach.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it just seems like
something to do.
Something to do,
exactly.
Yeah. But that trip is going to be fun. So the France, Spain, we're going to San Sebastian, Barcelona, Saint-Tropez, Geneva, Paris, so Le Mans. So that's going to be a good time.
It's going to be my first time overseas.
It is going to be your first time overseas.
So I'm excited.
And then we wrap up the year going to Scotland, and Scotland should be a good time as well. There are no Mandarin Orientals. There's a Waldorf in Edinburgh, but no Mandarin Orientals that I know of in Scotland. There's one in London. I was talking to them today, but
okay.
I'm not a big, I don't know, I've never been to London. You'd think that's probably the most common place that an American would go in Europe.
I don't think I would be like, oh, I'm going to London.
It doesn't appeal to me. I don't know why.
Just there's the clock tower thing and then...
No, Big Ben. I mean, it's...
And then what?
I don't know. You know,
tea?
like, I hear the food isn't terrific. There's just really nothing that grabs me, but a lot of rich people move to London. So, like, a lot of, like, rich Saudis and Asian people...
What's the benefit?
You know, that Saudi Arabia or even China sucks for like wealthy people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, not that Saudi Arabia sucks for wealthy people, but a lot of them tend to migrate over there.
Just better.
Like I don't get the appeal. I haven't been there. I've flown into London Heathrow, and then I drove across the country because I was driving that BAC Mono. And that was a cool car. They're actually going to be partnering with us on adventure drives in Scotland. They're going to have a couple of monos up at our starting location that we get to go drive around. But that car is like race car.
Yeah.
Open wheel cars are cool. Because like when you just look over and you see the tire above your head.
What if a rock gets kicked up and like hits you?
Rocks usually go backwards, but you should be wearing a helmet.
Well, anything that's open like that.
Yeah. But it was, I don't know, I enjoy the idea.
It's like a different driving experience.
It is. It was a sequential box. So it takes a little.
They are?
They are.
I didn't know that.
So it takes a little bit of getting used to it. You have a clutch, but you only really need it to get moving. I drove a Lotus Formula One car, or a Renault, something. It was a '07. And I drove it at Coda, which is an awesome track, but super expensive.
We had to go there. I remember I checked out the rates there.
Big money. It's like 65
It was
60.
Yeah, it was like 60 grand for a few hours. And if I wanted like an actual half day, it was still like 35,000. I'm like,
is that worth exactly.
It? I'm like, dang.
It's just a lot of money. Like,
yeah, for like 4 hours, 35,000.
But think about it, like 35,000. That's real money. That's like I could buy another Porsche, or I could go do this
for 4 hours.
Yeah,
drive this track.
I don't know. It's manufacturers don't even blink at it. They'll rent the thing for 3 days straight.
Of course not. Yeah.
But it is a pretty badass track. They invested a lot of money into it. They went the high road, and I was like, oh wow, we can definitely get it for like a reasonable amount of money. And the answer is no, you can't. But if you think about people that rent it out for track days, you can make money off that. If you've got just at $600 a car for a day, or $500 a car, you get 200 cars there. I mean, you start doing the math. The guy's making $40,000, $50,000 for renting the track for a day.
Yeah, but that's a lot of cars to bring in.
It's a lot of cars, but it's a big track, and you do different run groups. Have you ever gone to like open track days?
No.
No. So if you go to like Pocono or something like that, there's always 150, 200 cars there.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you're because not everybody's running all day. It's always like super busy in the morning, and then like come afternoon, like you get the track to yourself. So it's nice because that's a good thing about race cars.
Break
they break, they get hot. They're like, all right, I've gotten my kicks out.
Yeah, and the excitement kind of like wears off a little bit.
Yeah. So you've been on track when?
Palm Beach. That was my first track experience in Palm Beach. One of our assorted participants let me drive his car.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. That was the BMW 135i. That was good. That thing boogies. It has a lot of torque, and it surprised me. It really did. But that was a good car to drive, at least for my first track experience. And he was a good coach too.
Yeah, he knows his car well.
Yeah, and he was like good with like gearing, where to turn in, like everything. Obviously, he drives that track a lot, but he was on point. He's like, "Do you want me to go with you?" I'm like, obviously, get in the car. Like, please. I don't know what I'm doing, but he was great. So
funny. I feel as a woman, I don't get this perspective of guys just like, yeah, just drive my car. I don't care. Like,
are you kidding me?
Like you don't think about it.
What did you do when we were at Palm Beach? What car did you drive?
I'm different though because I'm a YouTuber.
You said, but like, give me the keys to the SVJ. All right, just take it out.
Yeah, but I'm a YouTuber. That's so different. Like, and I guess I get to experience that. But like, guys are like, oh yeah, there's a 17-year-old chick. Oh, she's hot. Here, take this. And like, just like, here's the keys to my LaFerrari. Like
now that's, I don't know.
No, but it's like I see stuff like that, and it's like giggle, 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 and I'm like, that guy. If a 16-year-old boy walked up and was like, yo, man, that's a hot car. Can I drive it? Fuck out of here.
Yeah, like no.
It's like no, you got to have a special license for this. Oh, that girl right there. Come on over. You want to drive it, sweetheart? And it's like, it's just guys. I don't know. Our weakness.
That's a gamble.
It is, especially on a racetrack because there's no insurance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did well.
You did well.
I wouldn't ask him or like even get in the car if I didn't feel comfortable doing it. And I feel like I have like a good driving experience.
I think you were following me, right?
I did follow you for a lap. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes it a little bit easier because you can sort of space yourself out, and you're like, all right, if he went, and I was driving like the
M850.
Yeah, some
with like, the top down.
Yeah, so it was like some like pedestrian BMW.
Yeah.
But if you're in a race car and you can stay, if I'm going through the turn, you're going to go through that turn at the same speed.
Yeah, I can do that.
So it's a little bit more confidence inspiring. That it's like, okay, I can do this. And I didn't see you come to any like screeching understeer halts or anything.
No,
like that.
No.
Pretty good.
Yeah, everything was pretty seamless. The only time I did get freaked out was the ZR1 came flying up on me on the straight.
Okay.
And I didn't know if he was going to pass me or what he was doing, but he was on me. And I got like so nervous because I was too busy paying attention to him. And
Yeah, you got to always look forward.
Yeah. And then I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm getting off the track.
Yeah, the ZR1 is faster than that BMW.
I don't know where he came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, it's a fast car.
Out of nowhere.
I don't know. I guess I'm saying that I don't understand why guys do it, but I was going to let you drive the Corvette too.
Yeah. So what's up?
But like
why?
My Corvette, I don't know. Like I feel a attachment, but a detachment to it. Like it's full roll cage. Like nobody's going to get hurt in it.
Yeah.
It's quick but controllable. It does have traction control when you leave it on. Mm-hmm. So it's tough to get away from you. And I didn't think you were going to drive it that hard anyway.
Oh.
But, what are you going to set a lap record? So.
You'd be surprised. My first track day was good, according to Chris.
Yeah.
He said
I don't know. The thing's worth 30 grand, 40 grand. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, put it into a wall, it makes a YouTube video. Like it's
yeah,
not.
and then I'm more crippled because my back. Because I put your
right.
Corvette into a wall.
But that would have been your fault, not me.
Yeah, it would have been my fault, but I wouldn't be too happy about it.
Yeah, as you shouldn't, because nobody likes to crash. Crashing is no fun.
No, it's not.
So how many accidents?
Oh my gosh, I haven't been in that many accidents. I've only been in 2.
2.
None of which my fault. And
how many years have you been eligible to drive?
Oh my gosh.
4.
4?
So
I've been driving
one
since
accident every 2 years. So by the time you're my age, you're going to be in 10 accidents.
This is not something that just... It's not a pattern of repetition.
It could be.
No.
We're working off of hard facts and statistics right now.
No, this doesn't apply. This is... Like, I can't control what happens in the future, and you can't... Like, I don't know. It's just wrong place, wrong time. The first one, this is a lesson.
Let's talk about accidents. Go ahead.
This is my life lesson. Never call out of work. Ever.
Okay.
Because I called out of work, and as soon as I called out of work because I wanted to hang out with my friends, I literally got in the car and somebody hit me. And that was the accident that hurt my back and ruined it.
Nice.
Never call out of work.
Were you in a parking lot? What was the...
No, I was driving through like a downtown area. We were all going like 25, 30. It was a couple of my friends.
25, 30 is the speed though. Like if anyone ever describes something happening to them, they're always going 25, 30.
No, but we actually were.
Yeah, no, I know. Everybody was. But like, I'm just saying I always hear it's like, oh, I don't know what happened. I was only going like 25 or 30 miles an hour. Meanwhile, like guys screaming through fourth gear.
I was not.
I know.
I was not. This was a downtown area. It was after school. Kids were out. We were in like a line of like 5 or 6 cars, and I know we weren't speeding because we were trying to move one of my friend's cars that didn't have plates on it. Okay. So we were trying. That's
a Rob move.
So we were trying to be like really discreet,
Stealth,
yeah, with like just all these like crazy colored cars, and I was in the back. There's actually a light right before the road that we had turned on, and a piece like fell off the BMW in front of me. So we stopped at the light, and we were all looking. It was like one of the coolant hoses like literally just fell off this car. Like this car was junk. And
coolant hose is pretty important.
Yeah, it was a little bit important. And one of our friends actually ended up driving past us at the light and was laughing so obviously out the window.
I'm that friend.
And he ran into the car in front of him. Nice. He rear-ended the car in front of him, and we all started dying. And then as soon as we turn off onto the road, we get back on the road, then I get hit. And this huge accident happened. Somebody was pulling out of his driveway. And I don't even know how this could have happened at these speeds, but he hit the quarter panel of my car, which sent it spinning. It slammed into the curb twice, and
that's not 25 miles an hour. It can't be. You're talking about physics.
I know, but this is why it doesn't make sense to me, because this guy was coming out of his driveway, and
which means he couldn't have been going too fast.
And I was going this way, and he hit the end, like the quarter panel of the car, which I saw him and tried to turn out of the way, which I might have added to that spin by trying to get out of the way. But he hit the quarter panel, it spun, the rear hit the curb, and it spun around again and ended up sideways on the road. And the whole wheel fell off. At the control arm, it broke.
What type of car?
It was a BMW E46.
318?
Oh, I don't know.
E46 is a nice car. Whose car was it?
It was one of my friends. He literally let me drive it for like.
See? What did I say?
No. Yeah, it was the first time he let me drive it, and
this is a lesson we learned.
Gets totaled. You know what? But he got a good payout from insurance.
Of course,
from that car.
yeah. But that's why you insure cars.
So much more than what it was worth.
Your back is now twisted until you get surgery.
Yeah, which I'm really thinking about surgery. I think it's time.
Yeah,
it's been ongoing for a while, almost 3 years, coming up in March.
Yeah. Speaking of coming up for a while, are you done with the back?
I'm done. We can stop talking about it.
Let's talk about what's been coming up for a while. The finale of Sorted. And this time I've learned my lesson, and I've just held. The editor wanted to split the final episode into two. It was running like 47 minutes as one episode, so he's like, "I'll just split it up into two." So I was like, "All right, I'm cool either way. Just get it done."
Yeah.
And it was good. I mean, the edit was all right. Everybody the general reception initially was like, this has been 5 or 6 weeks since the last episode.
I know. People forget what happened.
Understandable. It was probably one of the most frustrating things that I've dealt with was getting these edits out. And the editor, like, initially is like, here's how long it's going to take. Like, I'll be at the shoots. Here's how long it's going to take. Supervise the shoots. Make sure the cameras are synced. Do all this stuff.
Yeah, he did pretty well, like, on set.
Yeah, he was all right on set. And then next thing you know, he sets a time frame, and what he approved as an upload schedule. I was like, all right, let me put some buffer weeks in there. So you said you're going to be banging out 2 episodes a week. No problem. After you get the first one done, after you get the demo, the initial stuff done. So I started relying on that, and I'm like, let me add a buffer week in there just in case he starts running behind. And fast forward like 4 or 5 months.
Fast forward half the year,
and it was just like, it's the guy's like the hero of his own story, and I was a little bit bummed by it because he like I wanted to do the voiceovers with me, Matt, and Amelia would all read the voiceover script.
Yeah.
And then he could just interchange between us. So we're all narrating the show. But he wanted to narrate. And I was like, all right, so like just get me the episode.
Kind of locks him in.
And that sort of locked him in. And this is a lesson in, I want to say, negotiating or whatever, but like it's, you end up in these situations where you just want to sort of punch yourself in the face and say, like, why did I do that again? Where when somebody...
This is again?
Yeah, it's happened. So it was with like photographers and stuff where it's, like you agree to pay them on like a weekly basis, and everything is going well, and then everything gets very drawn out, like, because you're their cash cow, like you're relying on me, and now next thing you know, something that should take a week takes 3 weeks.
Why don't you do like pay when the job is done?
Well,
like, this is your flat rate.
But now you end up in a thing where they've got control. They do the edit. They do everything. And then, or like the same thing where the guy makes himself sort of invaluable by we would have to completely change the format or the feel of the show by having a different narrator, losing all of the initial edits that we have unless we rip them off of another thing. It just, once you start with the one guy, you got to finish with the guy. And this is where, like, it's now like, hey, send me another $5,000, send me another $10,000. And it's like, it just started adding up. And usually when you work with a professional, right, it's the general rule of thumb is that, or the law will generally allow you to be off by 20%, like a body shop. Like, hey, I think your car is going to cost $2,000 to fix. Anything over $2,400 is on the body shop. You can't be a body, and it's the same thing. Like, think about bringing your car to a body shop. They're like, yeah, I could fix that for $1,000.
And they ring you up.
You go to pick up your car, and it'll be done in 4 days. You go to pick up your car 3 weeks later, and the guy's like, all right, it's $9,000. What do you mean it's $9,000? You said it was going to be 2, and you said it was going to be done in 4 days. Well, you know what? Pay me, otherwise I'm going to put a mechanics lien on your car and keep it. And that's why they made this thing that you can only be wrong by like 20%.
So what are we at now with that percentage?
It was 100, pretty much 100% more than it was supposed to be. So double.
Wow.
So I was factoring in one, and he was the single highest. He made a lot of money. Just to say that he made almost what you made last year doing this show. So,
wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's far more than it should be to do an edit. And once you get, and then he's the same thing. Like he's withholding the uploads. He's like, I'm not going to give it to you until I get paid. And then what do you got to do? I got to pay the guy. And you've just learned a lesson. Now I've got two options. I can either let it go, and obviously I'm never going to use the guy again, or I file a lawsuit.
Yeah. So what are your next steps here?
I don't know. So part of me says like,
100% is a lot. 100%.
No. I know. And he was the worst part of the show in that he'd put out an episode and it's 35 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And I'd watch the whole thing. I'd give all his feedback and he would only change some of it.
I remember watching over and over.
I was so frustrated watching the same 35 minutes over and over again and pointing out the same stuff that wasn't fixed, or saying, I want this changed, and he doesn't change it. What am I going to do? Like, this is going to go back and forth forever. So I just started accepting whatever it was just to get it out there. Mm-hmm. And I still think the series is probably one of the best automotive series that has blessed the YouTube pages.
I think it's pretty good.
It was a solid series. What was the editing perfect? No. Was the storyline perfect? No, like they like the Sheepy car not showing up was it was a bummer. It was like the premise of the show was that the East Coast to West Coast was going to race, and when that car bailed out, it was a sort of a bummer. That's why even when that car wasn't even supposed to be there. I guess this is the backstory. Normally, like in the episode, I didn't want to highlight it. I didn't want to bring it up, but I was just looking at Instagram today, and people were tagging me that. Sheepy, I guess Matt did Matt did a VinWiki video, but I didn't watch it. But he must have mentioned the Sheepy R8 somewhere in there as to the fact that they didn't send the car, whatever the story was. I didn't want to put it out there. I just said the guy couldn't make it, and that's how we put it in the thing. So even then, the editor, when you watch the last episode, had to sort of voiceover like, yeah, that's right, sucks, car didn't make it, and like he had to fill in the gaps because I was just like, yeah, you know what, the R8 for whatever reason couldn't be here, so we came up with a plan B, and I just left it at that. I didn't say it was his fault.
No
I didn't
reason.
Say it was the owner.
Yeah.
But the R8 wasn't even. It was supposed to be a twin turbo Lambo from Alex at Sheepy Race.
I think the green one.
And it didn't show up, and that was supposed to be there the night before. We always tell people to get there the night before. We get hotels for everybody. And when the car didn't show up, we're calling in the morning like, oh yeah, don't worry, we're going to send another car. All right. And then the car wasn't showing up, which is why when you see the group photo, there was no R8 in it. Our group photo with the cars when we did the intros.
They were a little bit late.
That car ended up rolling up to us late and took part in the event, actually ended up winning. It was actually a pretty well-built car. I think it was
insane.
It was. We didn't... California wasn't pushed as hard as Florida. Like, we didn't try for 10 laps in any of the cars because none of the cars really were able to do it.
Yeah, and it was so hot out. It was so hot, and the cars were already getting hot, so it wasn't worth, like, pushing
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, would we... I mean, it was pretty hot in Florida, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was, like, humid, but I feel like it was, like, raining. It was cooling everything down. Like, Florida was a little bit different.
Yeah.
California... a little bit miserable.
Yep.
Just in the heat in the desert.
I don't know. There's a couple of things. So then they started railing on Matt, or Sheepy, then Alex Soto put out a video talking about it, and I didn't watch that either. But a lot of people were like, who's this Matt Farah clown, blah, 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 blah. And everyone's like, he's sort of got 1 million subscribers, and he's been in the industry for a while. He like writes for Motor Trend and like he's a journalist. So
who is this guy?
So to be ignorant and like try to discount his stature in the industry is one thing. But it's just, I don't know. It was I don't think Matt should be attacked for it. Matt is entitled to his opinion whenever it was that as to why the car didn't come. And I remember before we're like, oh, damn, I think this car is going to win. And the thing is, even when it won, it was the only car that would have been competitive against the Porsche. Yeah,
even looking at the other numbers, because we were trying to think of backups, it wasn't worth bringing anybody else.
It's not even that. Like, half the cars broke, so we were literally down to like
we had
three
four.
Cars. Yeah, I think it was 3 cars. The Mustang fixed itself, and
the baseline car.
Yeah, it was just a hot mess out in California, and that's the thing. It was like, all right, nobody's even beating the baseline car. Like, nobody's even beating a stock GT350 or GT500. And if you think about it, the GT500 is slower than the ZR1. So, and virtually every car we had in the East Coast beat the ZR1.
Oh, so East Coast was pretty East Coast, Beast Coast.
Yeah, Beast Coast was the Beast Coast. It was a very strong field, very fast cars.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's why, like, even some people brought up, like, what about why didn't you send? Or I think even the guy, it was a Grant with the
Grant with the GTR.
GTR, yeah. He's like, I came in second. They should have shipped my car. It's like, why are you going to ship a bolt-on GTR? It's going to get destroyed by Sissio's car. It wouldn't even be like, everyone would be like, why am I watching this? I know what's going to happen. You 1,000 horsepower car versus 600 horsepower GTR.
Yeah.
We know the outcome. And just using the baseline cars as metrics, there's no chance that that's going to be entertaining or like there's just no point to it.
Yeah, you need something competitive to keep it interesting.
You need the competitiveness. Now, if there was if it was closer, right? If it was like
a second within.
Yeah, whatever. If they all beat, like, I don't know, if it was just it was a 750 horsepower car. What are you checking out?
I'm just looking good.
If it was like a 750 horsepower car that was lapping fast or did everything but maybe the top lap faster than the GT500, I would have contemplated bringing it out. But like, using the baseline car as a metric, like, there was no way that was going to be entertaining.
The baseline car from West Coast.
Yeah, no, I know. The baseline car from the West Coast would have won. That's
went up against Sissio.
That's what's ridiculous. No, not against Sissio.
Oh, okay.
It would have won the West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
It did win.
So
the
we
West
should have
Coast.
sent it against Sissio.
Like, nobody beat the baseline in the standing start, in the flying lap, and even the R8 beat the GT500 in the 60 to 150.
Yeah, that already was quick. But
it was.
That Mustang is also like completely redesigned. That's not even a Mustang because Matt took the GT500.
Yeah, but you had this 1,100 horsepower blown GT350, and it was like seconds slower than the GT500.
Yeah.
And Matt took the GT500 on the track, Tanner took it on the track, I took it on the track, and we're just lapping.
Yeah, Matt took me on it. It didn't feel like a Mustang. It felt.
It's still.
All right. Well, it's still
didn't
big.
feel like your Mustang.
Okay. Wow. I'm just saying that car was very well built and it was good on the track.
Hey, look, you have a team of Ford designers. Ford put out cars like the GT500, the Ford GT, the GT40, the new Ford GT. They can build performance cars. They don't because it's not their market, but they can build them.
I know. There was like a time a couple years ago when they're like, oh, we're only going to build trucks or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, geez, like that kind of sucks. And that new Mustang.
Now they're going electric. The Mustang Mach-E.
It shouldn't have been named a Mustang at all.
I say that too, but I mean, I guess sacrilege or whatever.
No.
They try to explain it. I just think it's a pretty decent EV. If it's cheap enough, who knows? Like, I have to admit, I was wrong.
About?
When I was doing my podcast, and I'm generally, I mean, you know me, like I'm objective.
Yeah, you're always wrong.
But I'm always wrong. I said during the podcast early on, one of my early podcasts, that electric cars were not going to be the future because of the charging time, because like nobody's going to want to unless they were able to make like a swappable battery pack where you can literally go to a gas station, they pull out one battery and shove in another battery and you're on your way. I didn't think there was going to be a future that people were going to be cool letting go of, especially in like sports cars.
Oh yeah, it's
the
still
electric.
Hard. But it is.
The other problem is like your range. If you have like an electric sports car, you can do something fun for 10 minutes and then the thing is dead. And that was Top Gear highlighted that when they were using I think it was the old Teslas. The Tesla Roadsters.
The older Teslas weren't as good.
I get it, and that's why I gotta say it when I say it. I was wrong. Now even I'm interested in getting an electric. It's come to the point where the convenience factor exists, and I'm thinking about daily driving an electric car.
I think that's just because Ryan wants one.
He wants a Tesla. My kid wants a Tesla, and you know what? The Tesla Model 3 I think has the best like resale value. So you buy it for 45 and it's sort of worth 40 grand or 45 grand with 40,000 miles on it.
I know. I see them go for like, 40, 43 with like 45K. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's astounding to me. So let's not rule it out. I may get an electric car as a daily driver.
When do you think that battery has to be like actually replaced though?
And that's the thing. It goes like 500,000 miles apparently. So
that battery?
Yeah, but like imagine having the reliability of effectively a golf cart for 500,000 miles. No oil changes, none of the nonsense.
Oh my gosh. But I heard like horror stories where people are changing that battery at like, like 50, 60,000 miles.
They shouldn't have to. That would be a default.
The range just keeps going down, or like like batteries have memory, right?
It goes down in winter. I know that.
Yeah.
So your range is not as long, but it's just like people expect it to be like a panacea. They expect it to do everything, and you have to sort of drive around it a little bit. But it's getting there. I can definitely see it being like everybody's. Wow, the car's only got 250 miles of range. When was the last time you needed to use more than 250 miles in a day? The only time that sucks is if you don't live in a place where you can just go plug your car in at night.
Yeah. Or if you're on adventure drives.
Or if you're on a road trip, yeah. But even the road trip, we took Shavam's car on the scouting trip for the Northeast trip. Mm-hmm. And we went from New York all the way up to Vermont that night. And we went over to Maine, came back down through Newport and back home.
How many times do you stop?
We stopped maybe 3 times, and you stop at the supercharger. You're there for like 15 minutes.
Oh, you get a snack.
It's like usually right off the road. Yeah, you can just walk over to the... it's usually like near a gas station or something like that, or a coffee shop. So you go get a coffee or something like that. Thing 15 minutes later picks up like 80% of the charge, but you got 90% or 75% of the way of where you were going. So you didn't even need a full battery to finish. And then you just plug in overnight and you're good to go in the morning. So it was sort of fairly useful. It wasn't as
practical.
It was fairly practical. And that was sort of the selling point where I was like, all right, I could do this.
Yeah. I didn't think now the East Coast was completely set up for electric vehicles, though. I know like it's very big on West Coast. I feel like they have charging stations everywhere.
Tesla's getting there. And it's the one thing. They threw a charging station. And the car will tell you, like, it'll do all the math for you. And they put the charging station for the one, like right next to like a Red Robin or something like that. So we went in, had burgers, had lunch.
Lunch. It's lunchtime.
And I mean, that was valuable. And it's not, the thing is that you're going to run into like a shortage at a certain point in time. Like, you go and you charge your car, and if you leave your car there, nobody else can charge. Like it's not like somebody can just lift your car up and move it out of the way.
Yeah.
So that's what that icing thing is, where people will park in front of a charging port and like their diesel big silver nuts swinging from the tow hitch truck. So it's like, and like roll coal on these cars, be like, I'm icing you, bitch.
Oh, this is like a thing?
It's a thing, and it's very dumb.
What? What's the point?
There's no point.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. A lot of things in this world you're going to realize are very stupid. Like the fact that you like the Rangers and I like the Devils.
Wait, just to be clear, I do not like the Rangers.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
not New York teams. No New York teams.
I don't even. But like, imagine that. Like, we're gonna like throw down over the fact that we like a different sports team.
People do it. You ever been to like a Phillies like?
Philadelphia is the worst fans.
Any Philadelphia game, people will throw hands if their team wins or if they lose.
Or like they're burning the city down. Like, oh yeah, we won. Let's go loot. We
set the city on fire.
Yeah, let's go tear down light poles and like set fires on. Like,
they won the Super Bowl and they're swinging from the light post, flipping over cars, burning everything, stealing shit.
Yeah, no, it's not really the way I celebrate things.
Yeah, they're like,
but it's also
we love this city so much. We're going to destroy it.
What did you do? You did nothing. You bought a ticket.
They supported the foundation. Come on, it's a donation.
You were a cheerleader for the team. You did not throw. You didn't catch a pass. You didn't do a damn thing.
Listen, they need funding somehow.
Who? Oh, the team. Yeah, but like it's just like I get it. Like I can go watch a movie and not like punch somebody in the face that doesn't like the movie. Like it's the same thing. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm not like that. I don't know.
So I'm just realizing I didn't finish, and that's probably the big drama point of the episode is the Sheepy thing. So the reason the Sheepy car didn't come out, so I remember the Sheepy car was obviously a backup car to the one they were going to send, but they didn't. We lost a couple other cars. So like one guy had COVID or thought somebody in the shop had COVID, so he didn't come. 2 Porsches didn't come. All very last minute. Yep.
Yeah.
I tend to do that too, just like write people off. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yes.
And then like to get the emails, after they watch the episode, I totally should have been there. I'm like,
Yeah,
like,
we invited you. You were there. You had the
punch
invite.
you in the nuts.
Did some people emailed you?
Yeah, like, oh, I should have totally came. And the one guy with the Porsche that was giving me a really hard time. What
About
if Tanner crashes the car? No, or like, what if Tanner crashes? And I'm like, yeah, we got insurance. We got this. If Tanner crashes, we'll take care of it. If your car fails and he crashes,
a professional.
I know, I get it. So,
anyways,
we try. And I'm like, look, if you don't feel comfortable, don't come out. Like, this is not.
We're not forcing you. And you submitted your car. All these people, keep in mind, submitted their car willingly.
I'm like, you're giving your keys to me, Matt, and Amelia. If one of us bins your car, we're going to take care of it. And that there's no, like, there's no insurance policy that effectively covers something like that. I've got production insurance, but I can't imagine making a car claim on a production policy unless, like, a light falls on it or a camera hits it.
Yeah.
So, and we have a track insurance policy. So any like liability having to do with injuries or anything like that is covered. It just doesn't cover the car. And now we got to figure out what went wrong with the car. Like, is the car, it's like the guy, imagine we were driving that, do we have to go out for that? That red Subaru when the engine blew. Oh. And like, what are they?
Yeah.
What are they going to blame us for the engine blowing? I'm like, I'm so happy he was driving. Or even, and I don't know if Joel's car would have broke when we were driving, because we weren't going to try to spin the tires.
What exactly happened to Joel's car?
He sheared a drivetrain component, his drive shaft, not his drive shaft, his output shaft. He sheared it because he just had a lot of grip and loaded up with too much torque.
Too much torque and broke it. It was an older car. I mean, I think it was one of the oldest cars. Oh, no. What year was the Supra?
No, his was like a 99.
Oh, yeah.
My Supra was a 98. That Supra was a 95, the blue one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, they're both broken still, anyway.
I mean, even the Subarus, I feel like that red Subaru was pretty old, no? The Hawkeye?
Not the Hawkeye. You're talking about the RSTI, which is the one that blew up.
Yeah, how's that?
I don't know. I think it was a 2005. God, I don't know the year. 2003, maybe?
Yeah.
Who knows?
When I watched that episode, I watched it a couple of times when Amelia's like, no, I really wanted to land myself a Hawkeye. But it sounds like she's saying a hot guy.
A hot guy every time.
I was like, that totally threw me off. But let me finish up the soda thing, because I keep skipping over it. So they won. Before they won, I called them up. I'm like, hey, I know it was a little bit of a hassle, and like we had to really annoy you to get this backup car here. Mm-hmm. Are you cool if this car does win? Like, are you going to send it to Florida? It's like, absolutely. If it wins, we've got no problem sending it out there. And then there was a customer car. They sent it up to Seattle where the guy lived. And whatever the story was, the guy just didn't want to part with the car.
I was going back and forth with them about it, yeah.
And I mean, that was you dealing with it more so than I was. But like, I can't force somebody to give me their car. And
of course not, yeah.
All the commenters like, oh, you should just take all the cars and make sure they're all locked in a warehouse for a couple of weeks. I'm like, you can't take somebody's car.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're always going to have this with a production. Like we do it and whatever. Like, what happens if a guy's driving his car to the supermarket and it catches on fire?
Yeah.
After he wins the epic, what am I in? Do not touch that car until, like, none of the guys would have been able to correct any of the issues that they had with their cars if that was the case.
Yeah, the Audi, he came back a lot better.
Yeah, the Audi came back strong.
Upgraded the ECU, which was nice, made it run a little bit cleaner.
Yep.
They just took like the advice that you guys were giving and made the cars better.
That's valuable advice. I mean, you're giving a bunch of people that know cars the keys, and I mean this is almost like what professional test drivers do for cars, in that they go out, they drive the car and say, all right, this is what you have to change. You got to do this, you got to do that. And that's all very, very useful feedback.
Yeah.
And we gave honest opinions, and they can either agree or disagree. That we could say a car feels too fast or too slow, and they could be like, we're turning up the boost, turning down the boost to compensate for that. And the only thing that I think wasn't fixed that I thought should have been fixed was the Audi's brakes, because the Audi
he just had stock brakes. If you would have upgraded his brakes, because they cooked on the first couple laps.
I caught him on fire doing my my filming laps, and I'm like, oh wow.
Like, wait a second.
Like, I'm like, oh, the engine's smoking, and I'm like, I'm pulling in the pit, guys, get the cameras, and I'm like, oh nope, those are just the brakes on fire.
They were cooked.
Yeah, but I wasn't even really like I was talking to the camera. I wasn't like doing hot laps in the car. And I was like, I felt bad when Tanner got it. I'm like, he's going to kill these brakes.
I feel like Audi is usually good, though. like with their cars and performance wise.
But when you put like 1,000 horsepower to something now, instead of a car that accelerates and stops from 135,
yeah, they kind of make it to like what they know.
Yeah, now you're stopping from 165, like repeatedly, and that's very different heat load than a stop from a slower speed.
Yeah, stopping is very important,
and that's the thing you learn when you modify cars, that every time you crank it up, everything gets cranked up. And that you can't. That's why my Corvette is completely different. You've got to change virtually everything.
Yeah, that's also why it went kablamo.
It's I don't know if it went kablamo yet.
Oh,
it could be the starter that's bad. There's a guy, Joel Raleigh. Because he's annoying the crap out of me. He was a guy who was like, I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna fix your car. Right, like, and it's like, if I fix it, you can pay me. If I don't fix it, then you don't have to pay me. I was like, all right, or just pay for my flight or something. I was like, all right, whatever. So this guy comes out and he's like, oh, and I'm like, by the way,
he already came out.
He came out.
This was like done deal
a while ago.
Okay.
And he came out and he's like, oh, let me look at the NSX because I know you've had that airbag issue for a while. I can fix that. And he spent like 2 days on the NSX. I'm like, dude, just you're here for the Corvette. Like, I just accept that the NSX can't be fixed. Like, FedEx overnighted my something to somewhere for like $150, and I don't think I've ever seen that computer ever again. But it was like, oh, we just have to do this, do that, and I'm like, look, just work on the Corvette. He worked on the Corvette, ran out of time, and he's like, all right, I think it's either a bad engine or it needs a starter or something like that, or something with the starter. I'm like, all right, well, you've told me already it was like one of 6 things. You thought it was this, you thought it was this, you thought it was that. And he's like going in it. I'm like, just fix it. Like you said you were going to fix it, come out and fix it. And so he went back and then we fixed, there was a burnt starter, a bad ground of the starter, which Gavin swapped out, and it started more consistently then. But it wasn't like a... I don't know. I don't want to say it was perfect. I don't know if the engine was hurt at some point in time. I can't tell. It was down.
Think it could be.
Well,
how many pounds boost were you running?
Well, no, that wasn't. It was hurt. I was running 14 pounds of boost, and the car ran just fine on it. When I sent it to ECS to like rip out all those extra wires and everything like that, and they did a great job. East Coast Supercharging, they made it like proper race car,
brand new car.
Yeah. Factory harness is completely gone, rewired up everything. But somewhere there was an issue where the wheel speed sensor wasn't connected. So that's what controlled my traction control. And like my traction control went off of front wheel speed versus rear wheel speed. And normally it was set at like a 7 mile an hour differential. So the rear wheels can spin a little bit, but not too much. Otherwise it'll start cutting spark. We changed it so that it was, 200 miles an hour speed differential between front and rear wheels for like for like traction control off, because there's never going to be a time
zero
traction control. So the other thing is my 2-step was based off of the wheel speed sensors too. So if I went flat out and the wheel speed sensor wasn't reading, then it meant I was getting into like launch mode because I'm not moving. So when I went out on the track and my speedometer wasn't working because it's not reading wheel speed. So now I'm getting, when I was hitting the speed for even not full throttle, but when I was hitting 4250 or 4000, which was where my 2-step was at, it was just bouncing off the rev limiter.
I think it was just like one thing was leading to another, and things weren't communicating properly, so I might have just...
Yeah, so, and I don't know, but like even I was out there, we were able to go get this archaic cable from like Best Buy, and we were able to get through that. And we were able to just lose the 2-step programming altogether and just do just let the car run. But even then, my car was only making 6 pounds of boost because the boost is also wheel speed dependent.
Oh, yeah.
So
couldn't get around that one. I mean, even then it was it was considerably a fast fix.
What do you mean a fast fix?
Like to get it from the time that it went down to get it back out on the track.
All day it was down because we needed that cable.
All right. Well, I was trying to give you a little bit of credit.
I don't need credit. I'm going to call it as it is.
In your video, you're like, all right, 5 minutes later.
That was a joke. That was clearly
obviously, a joke. It was like 6 hours later.
Yeah. But you fast forward and you're looking at this, and we're here taking this car out again. And when I look back, and like Doug was following me in his Z06. He's got a modified Z06, runs 9s. I think he ran out of E85, so it was still fast though. It's still like a 10-second car. And Doug's a great driver. He was following me around. It's like, dude, I couldn't catch your car. And that's my car. And I look back at the footage. I was like, there's something wrong, man. It's just not making the power it's supposed to make. It doesn't have that like oomph.
Yeah.
And it turns out that it was only running 6 pounds of boost.
That's crazy. Because, I mean, I just remember it running good for at least one lap or at least half a lap.
It never ran good.
Or ran like decent, let's say. But like, because I know when it was running bad. And I remember like that. I'm like, damn, like this thing sucks.
Well, when it was hitting boost cut, yes. But but when it was running good, it just wasn't making... You've never been in that car when it was making actual power.
No, I didn't. So. And I honestly, I didn't expect much
you know what?
from it.
I brought you to get gas in it once.
Yeah, but what did we do? Putt around town and go get gas?
Yeah, but like when you're on the highway...
carbon monoxide poisoning from it?
You step on the gas in 4th gear and the tires just blow loose in the back. That's very different than like just accelerating. Mm-hmm. And that car was... I'm down 8 pounds of boost. Good rule of thumb, 20 to 25 horsepower per pound of boost. I was down 160 to 200
That's pretty
wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
For a car that's normally making like 650 or 700, so I was making about 450 in that car. And Doug in his Z06 couldn't catch me. So
what does that Z06 make though?
I mean, normally like 7 and change.
So
or 8, whatever he's making on corn. But like it's like it's a fast car.
This car's fast,
It's a 9-second car. So, I mean, that being said, I mean, the car was, it highlights that there's potential there. We're going to tear it apart. The fact that it didn't start could have been a bad starter.
I don't know. We tried to bump start it and it was sort of binding, which it could be one of the pistons is digging into the wall. I don't think it's like a full, like it didn't spit anything out. We literally drove it back into the pits. I noticed a misfire on when I was hot lapping. It was always on that one turn. It was turn 3, that like sweeping left-hander. Yeah.
And like each lap, it was like misfiring in this exact spot. So there could be a problem with one of the fuel pickups. So that it's not pulling fuel that it needs, and it's like missing.
It's spitting,
Because if the fuel is walking at that one point in time, because I'm doing the same G-forces, and I'm starving the fuel pumps, I could have done something there. But I brought that car down there to drive it, and I was like, I'm just going to drive through whatever it is. So I may have hurt the motor there. I don't know what the situation was as far as with the car, but whatever it is, we'll get it together. I was going to put the V12 LS in it. I thought that would be very cool.
That'd be
like
sick.
YouTube stuff, like naturally aspirated, like 900 or 1,000 wheel horsepower.
And you're a YouTuber.
But it's like a $45,000 motor. And I just can't justify putting another like Porsche into this car.
I mean, you have a house.
But it's not, I got a lovely house.
And you wanted, your house is great, but like you want to buy other things.
Yeah, but it's just like, I can go out and buy other cars. I'd rather just keep this thing running as is, or just do a 427 for 15 grand. I could put a nice like aluminum 427 that makes 700 wheel.
Yeah,
sounds awesome. But I'm now
pretty reliable.
Yeah, very reliable. A 427 engine,
easy to work on.
Yeah, so. I could do a 454. I mean, I can go bigger. Really, for road racing, that's what you want is a naturally aspirated motor. It's just like I like the idea of having that big front mount intercooler and. Like it looks cool. I like the car. It's a fun highway car. It's a fun drive around car, but I've got to figure out what the ultimate issue is. If I put a new short block in it, put a new short block in it. Whatever it is, I don't think it was a catastrophic failure. We'll see. We'll report it to you when we find out.
Get it up and running for April.
That's going to be up and running for April. We're going to have it down in Road Atlanta.
Yes. That's going to be, I'm excited to go there.
So Doug is actually coming on the birthday trip too, which is going to be a good time.
Is he coming to New Orleans or no? It's too soon.
No, he's skiing, snowboarding or something.
Oh, good. Awesome.
He's like, as long as it's not like these dates. And I'm like, all right, text me the dates.
You're like, well.
And I'm like, I've got the memory of a goldfish. Just text me the dates so I make sure I get it.
Put him in touch with me.
And then he texted me the dates. I'm like, why are you sending me this? So I like to bust his chops. But so anyway, the Alex Soto, I'll just make you listen to the whole episode to finish one coherent thought.
Oh, the same thought stretched out for an hour.
We didn't force the guy to ship his car. That's life. I don't really have an issue with it. It's not you can't force a customer. Like, I'm not giving you your car. It's got to go on the show. So it is what it is. I don't really care. I don't know what Matt said to trigger the internet hate. But I find myself. Oh, I also have a TikTok account. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I find myself not caring so much about, like, I've been doing this for so long. I'll post up stuff, listen to it, don't listen to it, hate me, curse at me. I don't really care. I try to give people stuff that's entertaining. I try to give people stuff that's informative. I try to give people stuff that's educational. If I can help you in your life, great. If I can't, don't listen to me.
And don't, move along.
like you're the one who, you have this ultimate choice that you can listen or not listen. And that's pretty much like, but people like just always listen and love to like just be negative. And that's like, I saw that with the comments early on in the first episode of the finale. Like, oh, it took too long. This is, and then people get very nitpicky.
But they're still watching it.
Still watching it, but like it was a good series. I wish it was a little bit tighter. I wish he like would have, like, even when I asked him, oh, by the way, can you, like, on this, he's like, this is my last change. I'm not doing that. I'm like,
jeez, you're the editor. We hired you to do these changes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not even asking you to come up with a new title screen, but you gave the points. Just put the values, the speeds next to the points. So it's more context. So you get a summary of like, oh, wow, when you look at this, yes, you see the points awarded, but you also see that the 918 did 60 to 150 in 8.43, and the Viper did it in 5 seconds, which is 3 seconds. Like, it just gives you context.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Viper was the fastest car I've ever driven, I think, and I've driven like Formula One cars. That was the most holy crap of cars I've driven.
I think Tanner even said that he was like, this is like the craziest car I've ever driven, like to date. That one in the Supra. He said it was insane.
I'm going to get my Supra running, and I think I either YOLO. I'm probably going to YOLO and just buy another one.
Why are you going to buy another one? You have a perfectly fine one.
Yeah, but it's got 19,000. I don't want to put it over 20,000 miles.
So then are you just going to sell it and go get another one?
No, just buy another one and keep it.
What?
Because I suck at selling cars. I hate dealing with people.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So what's the point of buying all these cars if you're not going to drive them?
I drive everything except the Supra.
So that's...
Like there's no point to that car. The Supra is like, I'm the keeper of history.
You should have put it in like your living room or something. Like in a glass.
In the piano room?
Yes, you have all this glass. You should have gotten like a glass wall and like put the Supra behind it.
I mean, yeah, we got a lot of glass working right now. People don't see this because they're just looking at this wall.
No, they don't. But this, like, the glass work's awesome down here.
Yeah, we've got a lot of glass.
Imagine the Supra like behind some French glass doors.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
I'm digging it. The steam room is almost done.
That one looks good.
The sauna is going to be, I just need the wood for the sauna, then we'll be done with the wood.
This one's the sauna?
That's going to be the sauna.
What is
There's only two of them. That's a hallway.
This?
This is
a hallway?
What are you pointing at?
The middle room.
The middle room, that's just a hallway.
Why did I think that was going to be something?
I was thinking about making it like a jacuzzi tub.
I thought you were going to do like door here, door there, so you access from this way, but...
That's it. That's all the glass that's going there.
Oh, I thought that was all going to be closed off.
That's, you ever see those like those wicker egg chairs? Does that make sense in your head? Like it's a chair that's shaped sort of like an egg with an open face, and it's got this big
like a cushion,
lounge cushion on it. Yeah, you probably see it like more so outside. I'm going to put one of those in the middle there as sort of like a lounger. No,
I don't know. I feel like that's like a bask in the sunlight kind of chair, not like sit in my basement.
It's. Does this feel like a basement to you?
It doesn't.
I don't get basement vibes down here.
All right, maybe not because the ceiling is nice and there's like a pretty big window over there, but.
And the sauna and the steam
and
room
maybe
and the gym
maybe
and
this
thing,
like whiskey lounge kind of makes it feel like a cool hangout.
This is like a social space. This is like, I feel like I'm in a nice, I don't know.
In your house.
In my house. Starting to feel real down here. I like it. And I've even got the toilet installed today.
Oh, wow.
You got the downstairs toilet.
Is it gold?
Why would it be gold?
Remember we were talking about gold? Was it you?
Yeah, black and gold toilets, all disgusting. Anything other than a white toilet to me is weird. Honestly, you like your black toilets, which is very strange.
No, all right. I saw a home that had a black toilet and the bathroom just had this crazy setup, and the black toilet looked so good in it, and I thought it looked good.
I don't like black toilets because you can't tell when they're dirty, and I think that bothers my brain.
Wouldn't that ease somebody's mind? The fact that it like
it's dirty and you just can't tell?
There's so many things like that though. So all right, you know what? Whatever. White toilets for the win. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Toilet talk.
Yeah, we're doing potty talk right now. We've got the track coming up, so we got some good stuff to talk about next week because we're now going to New Orleans Motorsports Park. I got to figure out whether the cars are coming. If you have a car and you want to lend it to me or even come out to the track, let me know. It's going to be this Sunday. We're bringing out a 488 Pista and a McLaren 675 LT. So I was going to bring my Corvette. Obviously, it's not going to be ready. But it'd be nice to have 3 or 4 or 5 cars out there. So if you're down in New Orleans and you got a car and you want to come out and have some fun, let me know. Shoot me an email, rob@superspeeders.com.
Just have them email me.
You can follow Tiara on Instagram, tiara.brianna. I'll put a link to her in the description. She's also going to be handling all the merch.
Oh, okay. We're doing merch, sounds like.
We have to. It was your job.
Oh. All right, we're going to talk about this later, but
we'll talk about this later. But she's going to be moving some merch this year. One of my, I always do, not a resolution, but we just got to make sure we stay on top of this, and this. And I was like, well, I'm just going to put you in charge of that. But when you put somebody in charge of that and they don't do it, then...
Wait a second. I get stuff done.
You do. You absolutely do.
So it sounds like you're putting me on blast right now for not getting stuff done.
Thank you guys for watching. I'm just kidding. No, it's no, you're really good at that stuff, but we just got to get some stuff designed. We'll get it up. We'll get you guys some merchandise. And I think we're coming up on the Adventure Drive trip, so we'll throw a giveaway to the DC trip.
Oh, that merch. Yes.
Oh, what do you think I was talking about?
I was working on that.
Oh, the realization just hit. It just sank in.
Anyways,
on that bombshell. Have a good night. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. This is going up. I'm going to put these up on Saturday. People are like, why would you put your podcast? Matt Farah said, don't put your podcast up on your main channel because that hurts your analytics. And I'm like, whatever. More people will see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to make people subscribe to multiple channels, even if it gets 10,000 views. Whatever. Knock yourself out. You want to watch it? Watch it. You don't want to watch it? Great. I've gotten to the point in my life where I am not going to fight a YouTube algorithm because otherwise I would be like, watch me full valet with donk with whoopee cushion on seat, and I'm just not doing that.
It's ridiculous.
Although I do own a donk, which I guess is YouTuber world, but I'll probably make a couple of videos with that and sell it. Maybe that's a car you can drive. Would you like to borrow the donk?
No. I might get into another car accident or that car would kill me.
Yeah, that car is dangerous, very dangerous. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you're listening on Shout Engine or YouTube, Shout Engine, or iTunes, we'll figure out how to get all this stuff dialed in. I was looking up, there's a little switcher that can toggle between cameras and everything like that.
Oh, let's do that.
So we're going to make this pretty legit.
We'll upgrade this.
We'll upgrade. So stick along, and thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. If you've made it to this point in time in the podcast and you haven't subscribed, now's your time. iTunes, Shout Engine, YouTube. Check them out. Thank you for watching. Tiara, thank you very much.
Thanks for criticizing my toilet choices.
Those are some shitty choices. All right. See you guys.
Bye.